Everyone thinks they know Australia. Kangaroos, the Opera House, the Great Barrier Reef. It's almost too easy to picture it in your head. But here's what you don't know. There's a beach here where the sand literally sings under your feet. And that's just the first strange thing we're about to uncover. From islands that vanish and reappear, to caves that glow like alien worlds, to an outback night sky so clear it looks fake. This isn't just a travel guide. It's the Australia that even Australians whisper about. Before we start, I want to know, if you could explore only one side of Australia for a whole month, would you choose the wild outback or the hidden beaches? Drop your answer in the comments because I'm reading every single one. Picture this. You're walking along a beach, warm sun on your back, ocean stretching endlessly to the horizon. You take a step, and the ground squeaks at you. Not a crunch, not a rustle, an actual squeak, like someone just ran a finger over a balloon. Welcome to Whitehaven Beach in the Whitsundays, home to some of the purest silica sand in the world. 98% pure, in fact. This ultra-fine texture means when you step on it, the grains rub together in a way that creates that strange singing sound. It's beautiful but also kind of eerie, especially when the wind picks up and the beach seems to whisper all on its own. And here's the kicker. This sand is so pure and so soft that NASA once used it to clean telescope lenses. You can't take it home, there are fines for that, but the memory of walking on it will stick with you forever. But the singing sands are just the start. Because a few hours away, there's a swimming spot so secret, locals debate whether it should even be shared with outsiders. If you've ever seen or been to a natural wonder that just didn't feel real, tell me in the comments. I might feature it in a future video. You've probably seen Australia's famous Bondi Beach plastered on postcards. But what if I told you some of the country's most magical swimming spots aren't even on Google Maps? Take Fern Pool in Quirky National Park, Western Australia. To get there, you have to follow a winding red dirt trail through eucalyptus trees. Then, just when you think you've gone too far, the landscape opens to reveal a crystal-clear pool, fed by a gentle waterfall and framed by ancient rock walls glowing deep orange in the sunlight. It's so secluded you can often hear nothing but the splash of water and the occasional bird call. And here's the thing, locals say if you arrive early in the morning before the first hikers, you might even see wild kangaroos drinking at the edge of the pool. Another spot? Emma Gorge in the Kimberley. Imagine swimming under a towering waterfall in a canyon so tall the walls seem to touch the clouds. The water's cool, the air smells of fresh rain, and there's steam rising where natural thermal springs meet the cold pool beneath the falls. These places aren't just pretty, they feel like they're straight out of a fantasy novel. But Australia isn't done showing off its weird side, because just a few hours from one of these pools, you can step underground into a cave that glows like the surface of another planet. If you could swim anywhere in the world, no crowds, no rules, would you pick a tropical waterfall or a hidden canyon pool? Let me know below. I'm curious who's on Team Waterfall. Step off the forest trail, duck through a narrow rock opening, and suddenly the darkness swallows you whole. The air is cool and damp, echoing faint drips of water somewhere deep inside. You take another step, and that's when you see it. Thousands of tiny blue lights blinking from the cave ceiling like an upside-down galaxy. The glowworm tunnel in New South Wales was once an old railway passage carved through solid rock. Now, the rails are gone, replaced by a soft dirt path and walls alive with bioluminescent creatures. The deeper you go, the brighter it gets, until it feels like you're walking inside the Milky Way itself. Even more magical is Springbrook National Park's natural bridge in Queensland. Here, a waterfall crashes through the roof of a cave, forming a sparkling pool, and at night the glowworms transform the rock into a living starfield. Locals will tell you, stand still long enough and you'll swear the lights are moving in constellations. This isn't just a sightseeing moment. It's one of those rare times travel makes you feel small in the best way possible. Would you walk deep into a pitch-black cave just to see this light show, or is that too much for you? I'm curious. Drop your answer in the comments. If you've ever dreamed of meeting animals that look like they were designed by a cartoonist, Australia is the place. On Rottnest Island, just off the coast of Perth, you'll find the quokka, a small, smiling marsupial that's become internet famous for posing in selfies. They hop right up to people with an expression that says, "Hey, let's be friends." But here's the catch. There's growing debate about whether this selfie culture is good for them. While some say it's boosting tourism and funding conservation, others worry it's making the quokkas too dependent on human interaction. Either way, their little grins are impossible to forget. Then there's Phillip Island in Victoria, where every evening, hundreds of tiny penguins emerge from the sea and waddle across the beach to their burrows. It's called the Penguin Parade, and it's as adorable as it sounds. Except in the wild, they're also prey for foxes, which means conservationists have to work hard to protect their numbers. And if you want something a little wilder, northern Queensland is home to saltwater crocodiles, the largest reptiles on Earth. Some tours let you watch them leap out of the water to snatch food dangling from a pole. Standing just a few meters away, you suddenly remember you're not at the top of every food chain. But the animals aren't the only keepers of Australia's untold stories. Some of the country's most ancient legends are written into stone, stories older than the pyramids, waiting in the red heart of the continent. If you could get a photo with any Australian animal, quokka, penguin, or something else entirely, what would you choose? Let me know in the comments. I'll tally the most popular pick. Deep in Australia's Northern Territory, surrounded by towering cliffs and rust-red plateaus, you'll find ancient galleries, not painted on canvas, but carved into the very bones of the land. This is Aboriginal rock art, and some of it is estimated to be over 30,000 years old, meaning these works were created long before the Great Pyramid of Giza was even a blueprint in someone's mind. In Kakadu National Park, ochre-painted figures dance across stone walls, hunters with spears, animals from a time when giant kangaroos and marsupial lions still roamed the continent. But there's something even more intriguing. Some images depict strange, elongated beings with halo-like shapes around their heads, known as the Mimi spirits. According to legend, these spirits taught the first people how to hunt and paint. No one knows exactly when these paintings were first made, or how their stories have survived so perfectly across thousands of generations. Standing there, you can't help but feel the weight of time pressing down, a reminder that Australia's history isn't just long, it's deep. And here's the thing, you can't just stumble upon these sites. Access is often guided by Aboriginal custodians who decide when and how outsiders are allowed to see them. If you could time travel to see what Australia looked like thousands of years ago, would you go? Drop your yes or no below. I'm curious how many people would take that trip. Australia isn't just a place you see, it's a place that dares you to push your limits. Imagine standing at the open door of a plane, 15,000 feet above the Great Barrier Reef. Below you, turquoise water stretches endlessly, dotted with tiny emerald islands. You lean forward, the wind roars in your ears, and then you're free-falling, the reef rushing up at you in a blur of color and light. Or maybe you'd rather stay closer to the ground. How about sandboarding down the giant dunes of Stockton Beach in New South Wales? The slope is so steep that your heart races before you even push off. And halfway down, you realize you're basically surfing without the water. And for the truly fearless, there's cage diving with great white sharks in Port Lincoln, South Australia. You climb into a steel cage, the water around you is crystal clear, until a shadow bigger than you glides into view. It circles once, twice, then comes right up to the bars. You're close enough to see the serrated edges of its teeth. These adventures aren't for everyone, but that's the point. Australia doesn't just want to show you something beautiful, it wants to make your heart race while it does. But here's the twist. Sometimes the most thrilling experiences here aren't about adrenaline at all. They're about witnessing something breathtaking that might not be here forever. Which one would you try first? Skydiving, sandboarding, or cage diving? Or are you more of a watch from the sidelines kind of traveler? Tell me in the comments. Number 7. A reef that's still alive, but for how long? When most people hear about the Great Barrier Reef these days, they think of bleaching, damage, and a fragile ecosystem on the brink. But here's what many don't know. There are still parts of the reef that are vibrantly alive, bursting with color and movement. One of them is found near Lady Elliot Island, a tiny coral cay off the coast of Queensland. As you slip into the water here, you're surrounded by swirling clouds of fish, coral gardens glowing in shades of purple and gold, and giant manta rays gliding past like slow-moving spaceships. The reef here is thriving because it's in a protected green zone where fishing and certain human activities are banned. And that makes it a living window into what the entire reef once looked like. But here's the bittersweet part. Scientists say that without continued protection, even these healthy areas could be in danger within our lifetime. It's a sobering thought, knowing that something this beautiful is also this fragile. Standing on the boat after a dive, watching the sun set over the horizon, you realize you're looking at more than just a travel destination. You're looking at a living treasure that's fighting to survive. And while the reef dazzles under the sun, there's another natural wonder in Australia that comes alive only after the sun disappears. One that will make you feel like you've stepped into the universe itself. If you had the chance to see the reef in its full glory just once, would you do it now or wait until later? Drop your answer, because I think this one says a lot about how we travel. Number 8. The Outback at night. By day, the Australian outback bakes under an unforgiving sun, but when night falls, it transforms into something almost otherworldly. Far from city lights, the sky becomes a vast, inky canvas, splattered with stars so bright and so close it feels like you could reach out and touch them. The Milky Way stretches overhead like a shimmering river of light, glowing bands twisting and turning in an endless dance. At places like Uluru Kata Tjuta National Park, the silence is so complete you can hear your own heartbeat. The cool desert air smells faintly of eucalyptus and wildflowers. Around you, the red rocks absorb the fading sunset, turning from fiery orange to deep violet as darkness settles. This isn't just stargazing, it's astrotourism at its purest. Some tours even use telescopes to show you planets, distant galaxies, and shooting stars streaking across the sky. Imagine sitting on the warm sand, wrapped in a blanket, feeling like you're the only person in the universe. But it's not just the stars that tell stories here. The Outback is a land steeped in Aboriginal legend, where constellations map ancient tales of creation and survival, connecting sky and earth in ways that science is only beginning to understand. But as peaceful as the Outback nights are, the land hides secrets from a very different era. Ghost towns left behind by gold rushes, full of stories that still echo in the wind. If you could spend a night anywhere under the stars in Australia, where would it be? Let me know in the comments. I'm betting the Outback is near the top of your list. Number 9. Ghost towns and gold rush legends. Once upon a time, the Australian gold rush brought fortune seekers from around the globe, carving towns out of nowhere in the hopes of striking it rich. But time wasn't kind to all of them. Now, scattered across the Outback, ghost towns stand frozen, half swallowed by red dust and silence. Take Hill End in New South Wales, where abandoned buildings lean precariously and cracked windows whisper stories of sudden wealth and sudden ruin. Streets once bustling with miners now echo only with the wind and occasional footsteps of curious travelers. Some say at dusk, the distant clink of pickaxes still rings faintly in the air. But these aren't just deserted places. Local legends speak of restless spirits tied to fortunes lost and lives shattered. One tale tells of a prospector who vanished without a trace, leaving behind a cursed nugget rumored to bring misfortune to anyone who holds it. Visiting these towns feels like stepping into a live history book, where every creaking door and faded sign holds a secret waiting to be uncovered. From silent ghost towns, we head back to the city, but not the city you expect. Melbourne hides some of the most vibrant hidden laneways and stories you won't find in any tourist guide. If you could explore one ghost town, would you brave the unknown or stick to the bright city lights? Tell me your choice in the comments. Number 10. Melbourne's secret lanes. Melbourne is famous for its coffee culture and art scene, but what really makes this city pulse is its hidden laneways. Narrow, graffiti-covered alleys where the real magic happens. Step away from the crowds, and you'll find Hosier Lane, a constantly evolving outdoor gallery bursting with vibrant street art that changes every few weeks. It's like walking through a live canvas, painted by some of the world's most daring artists. Just around the corner, tucked behind unmarked doors, are tiny cafes serving the kind of espresso that locals swear by, rich, bold, and capable of waking the sleepiest traveler. There's a laneway with rooftop bars where you can sip a craft cocktail while the city skyline twinkles above and the hum of jazz drifts up from below. These laneways aren't just spots to grab a drink or admire art. They're a heartbeat, a glimpse into Melbourne's rebellious soul. And the best part? They're easy to miss if you don't know where to look. But from urban streets, we shift gears to a natural phenomenon so strange it feels like the island itself is alive, shaping and reshaping before your eyes. Have you ever stumbled upon a secret spot in a city that instantly became your favorite? Share your hidden gem stories below. I love hearing them. Number 11. The island that changes shape every year. Imagine an island so alive that it reshapes itself every year, as if nature is constantly painting a new masterpiece. That's Fraser Island, the world's largest sand island, and one of Australia's most incredible natural wonders. Fraser Island's vast dunes, freshwater lakes, and rainforests aren't fixed. They drift, move, and evolve with the winds and tides. sand dunes can shift hundreds of meters, swallowing forests and uncovering new landscapes seemingly overnight. One year you might camp by a shimmering lake. The next, that spot could be under a rolling dune. This shifting terrain means the island is always surprising visitors, inviting repeat explorers to discover something completely new on every visit. But it also poses challenges. Managing access and preserving delicate ecosystems on an island that never stays still is a constant battle. Beyond the ever-changing landscape, Fraser Island holds secrets from ancient Aboriginal cultures and unique wildlife, like the rare dingo packs that roam its wild spaces. From shifting sands, we head to a quirky side of Australia. Festivals and events so unexpected they'll make you smile and scratch your head at the same time. If you could visit an island that changes every year, would you be excited or nervous? Drop your thoughts. I want to know how many of you would pack your bags right now. Number 12. Quirky local festivals you've never heard of. Australia is known for big events like New Year's fireworks and the Sydney Mardi Gras, but scattered across the country are festivals so odd they sound almost made up. Take the Camel Cup in Alice Springs. Yes, a camel race. Picture dusty camels thundering down a track while locals and tourists cheer them on, some dressed in Outback gear, others in full-on cowboy hats and boots. It's wild, unpredictable, and 100% Australian. Then there's the Giant Pumpkin Regatta in Narrandera, where competitors hollow out pumpkins large enough to float and race them down the river. Watching grown adults paddle in giant pumpkins might sound silly, but it's a serious competition with plenty of laughs and unexpected drama. For a taste of the bizarre, try the Henley on Todd Regatta, a boat race on a completely dry riverbed. Teams build bottomless boats and row them across the sand, racing for glory in one of the world's driest regattas. These festivals aren't just fun, they're windows into the quirky, playful heart of Australia's communities. And after all that fun, it's time to eat. But Australian food isn't just meat pies and Vegemite. It's a strange, delicious adventure all its own. Which festival would you attend first? The camel race, pumpkin boat race, or dry river regatta? Let me know your pick. I'm ready to book my tickets. Number 13. Foods you can only try here. Australia's food scene isn't just about meat pies and Vegemite, though those are classics. It's an adventurous journey into flavors you won't find anywhere else. Start with witchetty grubs, a traditional bush tucker delicacy that's crunchy on the outside and creamy inside. To some, it's a must-try cultural experience. To others, it's a daring leap outside the comfort zone. Then there's the Tim Tam Slam, a ritual involving biting off opposite corners of this iconic chocolate biscuit, dipping it into hot tea or coffee, and slurping the melted chocolate like a straw. It sounds simple, but try it once and you'll understand the obsession. For a proper Aussie snack, grab a meat pie at a local cricket match, flaky, meaty, and served hot. It's comfort food with a side of tradition, and some argue it's the real taste of Australia. But don't stop there. The coastal regions offer fresh barramundi fish, and the tropical north has juicy mangoes so sweet they almost don't seem real. From the flavors of the land to the rhythms of the rail, our next stop is a train ride through misty rainforests that feels like stepping into a dream. If you had to pick just one Australian food to try, what would it be? Would you dare the witchetty grub or stick to the safe but delicious meat pie? Comment your choice. I'm ready to be surprised. Number 14. The train ride through a cloud. Imagine boarding a vintage train that chugs quietly through mist-covered rainforest, windows fogged up as the air grows cooler and heavier with the scent of damp earth and wildflowers. The Kuranda Scenic Railway in Queensland isn't just a train ride, it's a passage through time and nature. Winding through dense jungle, over deep gorges, and past roaring waterfalls, every moment feels like stepping into a fairy tale. As the train climbs higher, clouds swirl around the carriages, sometimes so thick it feels like you're riding inside a cloud. From the observation car, you catch glimpses of cascading waterfalls hidden behind curtains of green, and ancient trees towering like guardians of this mystical place. The journey ends in the charming village of Kuranda, known for its vibrant markets and indigenous art galleries, an ideal spot to stretch your legs and soak up local culture. From the misty rainforest, prepare yourself for one of the most intense and dangerous hikes in Australia, an experience that tests both body and mind. Would you take a dreamy train ride through the clouds, or skip straight to the adventure? Let me know which one excites you more in the comments. Number 15. Australia's most dangerous hike, and why people still do it. Australia's landscapes offer breathtaking beauty, but they can also test your limits. none more so than the infamous Troll Staircase track on Tasmania's Tasman Peninsula. This isn't a walk in the park. The trail winds along narrow cliff edges where one misstep could mean a fall hundreds of meters down jagged rocks. Weather can shift in minutes, turning a sunny hike into a slippery challenge. But despite the danger, hikers flock here, drawn by panoramic views of towering sea cliffs, wild ocean waves crashing below, and the chance to stand on the edge of the world itself. Local guides say it's not just about thrill-seeking, it's about respect for the raw power of nature and testing one's own limits in a place where the line between awe and danger is razor thin. If you make it to the summit, the reward isn't just the view. It's the feeling of conquering something primal, something that reminds you why humans have always been drawn to wild places. If you were standing at the edge of that cliff right now, would you take the next step? Or would you turn back? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your honest answer. And if this journey through Australia blew your mind, don't forget to subscribe for more wild adventures like this.